45 years. I've raised a family, started a business, and watched our county evolve from a rural county to a booming suburban community. I care about Columbia County, and I love Columbia County. And I love the people who live and work in Columbia County. I built my first home in 1978. I began my company, Herbert Homes, in 1984. My focus has always been providing homes for families. The most important detail in construction is the foundation. Without a stable foundation, it doesn't matter how beautiful the home is, it's not going to withstand time. The same is true of government. Columbia County is only as strong as its foundation, the people who have made Columbia County their home. That's why I believe that to improve our county, we must start with a great foundation, the people. I'm glad to see that my fellow candidates have joined me in calling for more citizen participation in our government and have realized how important advisory boards really are. We have such a pool of talent in Columbia County. We must use our resources, asking those that are accountants, those that work in budgeting, those that know how to get things done in the best way possible. It's time to ask everyone to help. I'm starting now, forming these small groups so that when it's time, we're able to immediately begin the hard work of improving our county. Transparency in our government is found when the citizens are not only allowed to participate, but expected to participate. Another issue that is facing Columbia County is the pace of development. As Columbia County has grown, we've experienced growing pains. Those pains hurt, but growth is needed not to only survive, but to flourish. Yet we must never make decisions on behalf of growth that will lead to the detriment of our citizens. Controlled growth while working diligently to ensure that our services keep pace with the growth is key. As chairman, I will work with the State Department of Transportation to ensure that our transportation plan is on pace with our growth. I also will work with the Board of Education so that our school enrollments are considered when improving development. Growth isn't always easy, but growth can be tempered with thoughtfulness and planning. It will allow Columbia County to continue to be the best place to live. As your chairman, one of the most essential duties of the office is to be a good steward of taxpayer money. I recognize that tax revenue isn't free money, but hard-earned income for people like you and me. As a business owner, someone that makes payroll, I know how to be frugal, but also how to spend money to get things done on time and done well. As a husband and father, I know how to balance the needs of my family and the requests of my family while saving for our future. As a taxpayer, I know the less money I can give the government, the more money I can keep for my family. I will continue to focus on how best to be a good steward of Columbia County's money while balancing the needs and desires of the community. The best way to govern is openly and honestly. I endeavor to be accessible, accountable, and fair to all citizens. I pledge to never take a salary from the office of chairman. I expect to pay my own way, contribute my best effort to the job, and work to improve Columbia County to the best of my ability. Columbia County is at a turning point. Unfettered growth with little planning, financial extravagance, and transportation issues are at a breaking point. We must change course now. The greatest endorsements that I can receive are from my fellow neighbors and friends. Other candidates will tout their endorsements from elected officials. I'm proud of the endorsements that I have received from fellow citizens, the people who have lived and worked alongside me for many years. These are the people who know and trust me. I'm privileged to have the support of people who live all over the county, people who live and work in Athens, Leah, Winfield, Grovetown, Evans, Martinez, and Harlan. The other people that live out in different areas, you know, they're important too, but our citizens are the ones that are most important to me. You know, Governor Deal says that Georgia's the number one state in the country to do business. I don't understand why Columbia County can't be the number one county in the state to do business. Political office is not my calling. Higher office is not my goal. Service to my fellow citizens is my calling. I intend to continue my long history of community service to Columbia County as chairman. I humbly ask for your prayers, your support, and your vote. So vote Mark Herbert, chairman.
There are several questions, but the three that I sent to all candidates, we'll give each one of them an opportunity to answer. Why is the county acting as a real estate company buying all these buildings and properties?
You know, the short answer to that is I don't know. When the county buys these properties, it takes it out of people's hands, investors that would be paying taxes, school taxes on it. So really the school system is getting shortchanged, and the county is getting shortchanged to an extent. But you know, I'm not privileged to any of that information. I would have to yield to Commissioner Duncan on that. That might be a better question for him.
Okay. And then, what are you going to do about the illegals working in Columbia County, especially for builders?
You know, we don't have in our business, we don't have any illegals working. I know a lot of the illegals came in years ago when a lot of the big out-of-town builders came in. And I'll use this as an example. When we paid $3 a foot to frame a house, we were getting work done for $1 a foot. Tom, would you agree on that? And I actually witnessed these people living in tents in Grovetown. I mean, it was absolutely awful what I saw. We don't participate in that. None of the professional builders in the county do.
And then the last one, what is the county commission doing to promote small businesses in our county?
You know, I don't see what they are doing to promote small businesses. If you're a new big business, they roll out the red carpet to come into the county. And the small mom and pop businesses, you know, we just keep getting burdened down with more regulations, and you know, there's no clarity to it. And when I say that, it's almost like every time we get a new director, they'll put on some new ordinances, and it changes the pace. My goal is to reduce some of these ordinances and make them more common sense so that businesses can grow and flourish and create more jobs and create more tax revenue for the country.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Give Mark a round of applause. And our next candidate for County Commissioner Chair is going to be Pam Tucker. She'll come up.
Question. Is there any way to turn off the back stuff? I find it very distracting.
Sure.
Hello, everybody. I want to thank you so much for coming tonight. No matter who you're supporting, you're here, and that shows you care about our community, and that means a lot to all of us who are candidates tonight. You have a choice. You've got 3 choices. You get to hear them all tonight. A lot of you have made up your minds. Some of you may not have. So hopefully this will help you in making that important decision, May 22nd. I want to tell you just a little bit about myself, my family, my experience, and my platform. I was born and raised in this area. I've been a resident of Columbia County for 38 years. I'm married to Randy Tucker, who is a marketing development sales executive with FedEx. We've been married 27 years. We have one son who was raised and educated in Columbia County. He married his Greenbrier High School sweetheart 9 years ago, and they gave us 2 beautiful granddaughters. As a 39-year public servant, 21 years with Augusta-Richmond County as EMA Director, and 18 years with Columbia County as the Emergency Services Division Director, I've had a chance to manage millions of dollars in budgets and hundreds of employees. The departments I managed, emergency management, of course, everybody knows me by that, because that was the most visible, the most public. I had risk management, 311, public transit, senior center, fleet services, animal service. I managed the ambulance contract and the fire department contract. I managed over 700 trained volunteers, and I managed the administrative and budgeting process for Department of Family and Children Services, the Health Department, and Forestry Services. My certifications include Public Manager, Management Development, and Professional Emergency Manager, which required thousands of hours of training to obtain. It was a true honor to be one of only 3 directors across this country selected by FEMA to come and help develop a training course that's now still being taught nationally across the country. I'm proud to have been recognized as a Woman of Excellence by the Boy Scout Council. I'm sorry, it's the Girl Scout Council. And that was included Savannah, Riverside, Fort Worth, all government in this, the whole CSRA. So that was a true honor for me. And I was also most recently voted the best favorite community advocate for the Metro Spirit by the readers. Another great accomplishment was leading the charge to consolidate 4 volunteer fire departments. We didn't do anything with Harlem and Grovetown. It was 4 volunteer fire departments into 1 full-time fire service, which resulted in eventually a Class 1 ISO rating, insurance rating, that reduced your homeowner's insurance costs. Big deal for the county, because we only had volunteers. They had to get out of bed, go get a truck, go to the fire. So doing that and getting full-time equipment and setting up contracts with them it took me probably 7 years to fully establish that whole system. I've been published in the EPA documents and engineering publications for my work with safety programs conducted with our chemical industries. And under my leadership, my team led the effort to provide quick recovery by developing plans and contracts in advance to receive 92% of the $10.1 million that ice storm cost us back in 2014, more than any other county. During my tenure in Columbia County, my team and I received millions of dollars in contracts and grants back to this county that did not have to come out of your pockets as tax dollars. I decided to run for this office because I am a public servant. I have been for 40 years. After much prayer and thought 1 year ago, I was led to continue my public service to use my energy, my skills, my knowledge, my leadership abilities, my experience in a much bigger way to help our county flourish as it continues to grow. And it's going to continue to grow. We're looking at 190,000 people by the year 2035. Wrap your head around that if we think we got it bad now. We've got a lot of work to do coming, and we got a plan. And I'm a planner. My platform and the issues that concern me, 3 parts. Leadership, we need better leadership. Collaboration to be one county, and we need transparency in this county. Good leaders don't build roadblocks, they build bridges. We need to take an overall look at how our government has gotten so much bigger, but yet it's less responsive to our citizen needs. We need to understand that when road construction flaws put citizens at dire risk every single day, we need to immediately take action to fix those flaws. The Grovetown exit is a perfect example of a very dangerous situation we are just living with every day and praying and crossing our fingers that nobody gets killed. That should not be happening. We need to take immediate action to take care of that problem. We don't need to operate in a vacuum by conducting public hearings and open houses to meet mandates and start actually personally engaging the public and the community before construction projects and other projects start that impact people's homes and their lives. This gets the community upset. You know, we can prevent all that, we can mitigate, we can do things in the front of all of these decisions to have better outcomes and better decisions. Show them we really do care and we really do want input from the citizens, and you know what, if we don't, we should. We need to actually talk to our small businesses. This came up a minute ago in one of your questions. We need to not make decisions that are detrimental to those small businesses, like that sign ordinance. You know, that was a really bad. Start active programs that help our small businesses, and I've got some ideas on how to do that. We can simplify, expedite, and assist approvals. We can hold a small business day, recognize a small business of the month, provide the lowest possible cost for zoning and permitting, make it easy for them, recognize the small business of the year for exemplary public service and community involvement, appoint small business leaders to our boards, and put a sharp focus on small business and all county marketing materials. That means everything. Next, we need to reassess everything about our current stormwater program, from the budget to researching grants that will match costs for the county, right-sizing the staff in the stormwater department, evaluating the number of county-owned retention ponds, work with neighborhoods to ease the burden of mandated retention ponds, and prioritize projects as a start. We need to honor our fiduciary responsibility. We need to use tax dollars wisely, cut wasteful spending, lower taxes, and focus on public safety needs and the important critical needs of the community, and let concert promoters put on concerts. Let them be in the concert business, not the county. We need to listen to, respect, and provide equal service to every township in this county. Appling, Evans, Grovetown, Harlan, Leah, Martinez, and Evans, and Winfield. We need to break down the walls between the county divisions and departments and blend our plans. Transportation plan, we need to develop one and blend that with our growth management plan, which is Vision 2035, and our hazard mitigation plan. And if we do that, then the infrastructure and the growth will more closely align, relieving so much stress on our citizens. It's all about sitting down and planning, have a plan, and let the right people be at the table. And speaking of that, we need to bring all of our stakeholders to the table: public sector, private sector, schools, citizens. They should all have a seat at the decision table and utilize the wealth of knowledge that we have at our fingertips to avoid so many missteps that we have now in decision making. We need to make it easier for citizens to get information. A full review of the current process to get public information from our government needs to be reviewed. Information does not need to be filtered depending on who asks for it. And I can guarantee you that's happening, because it's happened to me. Taxpayers have a right to know everything about the government they're funding. We need to restructure the Construction Advisory Board and the Development Advisory Board, and these both were abolished, by the way, by the current administration. And they will provide a buffer between citizens and the governing body for better decisions and outcomes. We need to get those back. That's going to happen. We need to improve how we communicate with citizens before these breakdowns and understandings happen, before citizens come angrily piling into commission offices, whether it's about traffic or new development or whatever the issue is. You've got to be ahead of these problems and not just wait for them to just come to the county. In summary, I want you to know that I am that leader. I'm the fiscal conservative with an impeccable credit history who wants to blend our plans for more compatibility and improve service, listen to citizens, save tax dollars, give you my full-time attention so that everything I've talked about tonight can be accomplished. And this will help our county to be safe and to flourish as it continues to grow. I respectfully ask for your support, and I thank you for your time tonight.
Why is the county acting as a real estate company buying all these buildings and properties?
The county can only carry so much unused money. So they can either buy property and real estate or they can lower taxes. I've never seen them lower taxes. So there's your answer. So they buy the property. I think the voters need a public review of all the county-owned real estate and assessment of the costs and benefits and sustainability of those properties for the long run.
And question 2, what are you going to do about the illegals working in Columbia County, especially with the builders?
The builders have to go through E-Verify, which confirms that they can't be an illegal alien. But how it slips through the cracks is the subcontractor's under the builder, and then not a whole lot you can do about watching what they do. And the county really has very little responsibility in this area, to be fair. But once the county is aware of it and the sheriff finds that there are illegals working, then he notifies federal authorities, and that's the process for that.
Thank you. And what is the county commission doing to promote small businesses in our county?
Well, I don't think there appears to be anything being done right now, but at the same time, I don't believe there's anything being done to deter. I just think it's flat. Nothing's really being done. As I mentioned when I was speaking, I believe that a thriving small business sector equals a thriving community. Small business is always a positive for the community and the residents thereof. So some of the things I mentioned earlier, I think that should start immediately. And hey, current county commissioners, I'm fine with you using any of my ideas tonight to go ahead and get the ball running on something like that. Because I care about this county.
Thank you, Pam. And so just a reminder, if you've got note cards on the table, you've got questions on those note cards, if you will just raise your hand, Ricardo's going to gather those as we get ready to welcome our next candidate. Doug Duncan, will you come up to the podium?
Mark had his all written down on a piece of paper. I opted for note cards. Well, thank you for having me here tonight, and I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I was born in Augusta in 1962. I'm a fourth generation born in Augusta, and it's interesting because my great-grandmother was born in Augusta 135 years ago, about 2 weeks ago. So my grandson Drew is, I guess he's sixth generation, so we're proud of that. Went to Westside High School, graduated from Augusta College with a degree in business, and then went to Northwestern University out in Chicago for executive strategy classes. I currently work for MAU Workforce Solutions. I'm Vice President of Recruiting Staffing, which means I basically run the branches for the company. Customers give us jobs, and it's my job to make sure they get filled across the platform. I have a beautiful wife, Jean. We've been married 30 years. She's right there. 30 years on January 23rd. 3 children. And my daughter Molly's here from college student from Millersville. Molly's costing a whole lot of money. From a civic perspective, I was the chair of the Development Authority for a couple of years. I've been on the Augusta University Medical Center Board of Directors. I'd like to think I had something to do with the name change, but that's probably not true. But I'm very glad that it's Augusta University. I still serve on the Georgia Workforce Investment Board. The governor appointed me as vice chairman, and we take federal dollars, actually dollars that come from here to go to the feds. They give us money back and focuses develop programs to put people to work that need extra jobs. I took the oath of office for the First District Commission in January 2015. This is just starting my 4th year, I guess. And on the January of 2017, I was elected vice chairman by my peers. So I'm currently in the second year of that term. A little bit about who I am. One of the books that I really like is Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations. It was written in 1776. It gives 3 basic tenets of government, which I believe in. One, government should be boxed into these 3 things as much as possible. Provide for our common defense, which locally to me that's a sheriff. Provide for our court system, our system of judgment for folks, which is a court system. And then build infrastructure that the private sector won't do. roads, performing arts theaters, things that folks are not going to step in and private sector's not going to spend that money. Everything outside of that, you have to take a real hard look at. Say, should government be getting into this? And as subdivisions come before the commission, and you have a private property rights issue, you have an owner who wants to sell their land and make a profit, but then you have residents who don't want the houses because they don't want the traffic. It's one of the greatest and most difficult things that I personally deal with, because I want people to profit, but then or the person to profit with their land. But then also, the people who don't want the houses. Therein lies the great stress of sitting on the commission. What the powers the commission have come from the state, and the number one is zoning. So the biggest thing we do is zone, and give the approval for somebody to take their land and develop it. Just an interesting side note, some folks think that we approve every subdivision that comes through. Since my report, 3 years, 2 months, you have a 41% chance of your subdivision being approved. And I was shocked when they gave me those numbers, because I thought it was much higher than that. 41%. So more fail than come through. And it concerns me as somebody who wants liberty and not tyranny. Because tyranny is the government oppressing. But I tell you this, with the roads where they are, we have to take a step back and take a look and do the best we can to control the situation. Just to speak a little bit about, again, my platform going forward. One is to eliminate the traffic gridlock. Second is to enhance quality of life. And third is to make Columbia County #1 in business in the state. If you give me a second, I'd like to elaborate on those three. To eliminate traffic, first we have to complete the projects that are already in process, on time and on budget. Now, folks think Washington Road, well, that was supposed to be done the end of August. Well, then they get contractually they get rain days, and they can't pave if it's less than 47 degrees. So it was supposed to be done March 5th. What's today? That's Monday. So I call and say, why are we not done? Well, they have to calculate now the rain days from, it's a contract. We have to abide by the contract. They have to calculate the rain days from January and February. So I'm waiting on the date. So you can take this to the bank. The penalty is $1,800 and change for every day they're not done. And hell is going to freeze over before I agree to pay them a dime if they don't meet this specific deadline. Because that was very frustrating for citizens. It was very frustrating for me. But other projects, we've got projects that are funded. We have to get those started and completed. We have two parcels left to buy Flowing Wells Road. So once that's purchased, those last two pieces, then we'll start the right-of-way acquisition and start construction. That'll be the next project to launch. There's Pierce Ferry Road. The right-of-way acquisition is in process now. That'll start in the summer of 2019. There's Lewiston Road, which is going to be 4 lanes. We just started that right-of-way acquisition. There's Horizon South Parkway. We actually went to the state and got $10 million more to make that 4 lane. So all those projects are funded. They're going to happen. There are going to be more barrels. It's going to take time. Those folks, again, I've learned a hard lesson of road building, 4 stages. Design, right-of-way acquisition, utilities move, construction. Each can take up to 2 years. Regardless of how red-faced you get and jump up and down, utilities don't move until it's their turn. So we have to go through that process to bring all this together and make it happen. Once those roads are done, then we have to take a look at the second part of the plan is we have to prioritize and plan for the future. What are we going to do? Everything that's funded is going to happen. But then after that, it's money. How are we going to fund it? Well, I, for one, am in favor of no higher taxes. And if I'm chairman, that will not happen. We have to take a step back and say, do we want to pass the T-SPLOST again? It's already in the tax base now. If we pass that again, $250 million for road projects. We can widen Hereford Farm Road. What does that mean? You get off at exit 190, you can go all the way downtown, 4 lane. We can widen Harding McManus Road to 3 lane. And what I like to do is propose that we finish the Greenway with it. Because walking is transportation, right? Well, we can do that. I want a paving plan. We'll be paving these roads. I don't think we have enough money for those to move forward to make sure that the roads that we currently have are in great shape. But anyway, Prioritizing plan for the future is one, or thirdly. And lastly, I mentioned secure funding, again, without raising taxes. We've got to talk about T-Splosh. If we choose not to pass that again, then we'll look at our income, our sales tax will drop a penny. But at that point, we're not going to do these other projects that I just talked about. So we just have to choose. Because road construction always gets back to funding. Just as a bolt on that, I definitely want to see incentivized plans for construction to be done early. I've already pushed for the Flowing Wells Road commissioners, just FYI. I want to see what can we do to make sure that they finish early, they finish on time, and give them a little more money. How do we work that out? If they don't finish, I want to hammer them. I mean, it's frustrating to me. I want to gnaw my hands off sometimes coming up River Watch Parkway to try to. Second point was to enhance quality of life. And some of these projects are obvious with the passing of the bond, the GEO bond that passed this past fall. The Performing Arts Center started, they broke ground, I guess, last week. We got to finish that. We got to finish that whole Evans Town Center complex. There's Lakeside Park. There's the Greenway. There's Patriots Park. All these parks coming in for quality of life. But I submit to you that there's something a little further than that. And to me, it's the Sheriff's Department and the Fire Department. Because I don't care what kind of quality of life we have. If crime is bad, we're in trouble. We've got to make sure we have the best Sheriff's Department in the country. They just were recertified last week, was it? They just got the recertified, the highest certification for the Sheriff's Department. We need to make sure that we pay our deputies the amount that we keep them. It was about 2 years ago when the governor increased the pay for the state deputies 20% of state law enforcement. I approached the sheriff at an event and said, I'm concerned we're going to lose deputies. So he said he agreed, so I went back with the commission, and we worked and found a way to give them hazard duty pay, to bump their pay just a little bit higher, to bring them closer to the state level. So we did not lose deputies to the state, because it was a real risk. Second, the fire department, we mentioned that. Since I've taken office, we've added 23 firefighters. When I first started, see the thing, 2 men in a truck? Well, that's what we have. So they go rolling up to a fire. Well, they can't go in. One can't go into buildings. It's a 2-man operation. So we worked to build that staff up and to lift the 2 minutes, not 2 minutes, to lift the staff up so that we have 3 men in trucks, so we can serve the folks. Making Columbia County #1 in business. One of the primary reasons I want to do that, 54% of our general fund comes from property taxes, 34% comes from retail sales and car sales. The more we get sales up, the more we develop business, the more we can control property taxes, because people are pouring into this county. I sat in a meeting this morning in the chamber, and Tammy, maybe you can quote, I don't remember exactly what the number was, but another mission has been given. We're going to add another 500 people or so. It's mind-boggling, the folks that are coming in such a short period of time. So, lastly, I just want to say that in December of 2013, we were given probably the greatest economic blessing of our lifetimes in the U.S. Army Cyber Command. And I mean, that's a gift that we have to grab onto. We cannot let go. We cannot drop this ball. Our children, our grandchildren are going to benefit. We take control of the situation, plan, and move ahead. So I appreciate you allowing me to speak tonight. Questions?
Thank you, Doug. So if anyone has any questions, Mike Weltsy and Ricardo Bravo will grab those postcards from you, and we'll have all 3 candidates after this. So why is the county acting as a real estate company buying buildings and properties?
I got that question, and I looked, and since I took office, anybody get a calculator? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We acquired 6 pieces of property for a water utility tank, stormwater factory access, a new tag office in Grovetown for the tax commissioner, Patriots Park expansion, bigger park, parking for the Evans Town Center, 1 lot. That was 12 minutes. I had 1 time. And the Greenway Park. So 2 parks, 1 parking, and 2 water utilities. So if the county is I'm not sure where the question's really coming from, but I have not seen that in my time in the commission.
What are you going to do about the illegals working in Columbia County, especially for builders?
I'll say one thing, if I'm elected chairman, Columbia County will not be a sanctuary city, I can guarantee you. It will not. I support President Trump and his initiatives to deal with the illegal alien issue. As well, we support the sheriff, Sheriff Gravely. I've talked to him about the incident where the builder was housing illegals and building houses for much less. And, I can't remember the guy's name, but at any rate, it was an eight-month project that the sheriff's department took him down. And anything the sheriff needs, he'll have to ensure that we don't have that problem. But I do, again, support the president and the sheriff and whatever they need to get that done.
Okay. And what is the county commission doing to promote small businesses in our county?
Promote, I can't say that there's a big promotion. I can say that there have been 3 ordinances since I've been on the commission. 2 that affected building and 1 was assigned. And the way I can speak to how I've dealt with it and the way it will be dealt with in the future is the bureaucrats came forward and said, we need to do this. I said, okay, great. Write it up. But once they wrote it up, then I got the president of the Builders Association. I said, we need to have a meeting. We sat down and said, the county should do this. What do you think? And I brokered meetings with both times, and we came to mutual agreement on what would that the builders thought was fair, that it would play well for the county, and both of those passed. The sign ordinance, same thing. We got with the chamber. Once the county thought they had it, we sat with the chamber, and Commissioner Richardson and I sat in 8-10 hours with the meetings. And the county would say, we need X, and the chamber would say, no. I think the chamber got everything they wanted, except for 1 item. So I would consider that a failure. And we do have responsibility to make the county a better place to live, improve our standards, but we focus on not ramming things down people's throats.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We will also do this. So at this time, I'd like to invite Pam and Mark, if you'll come up front, if you'll stay there. I've got 2 mics, and I'm told that if they get real close, we have some feedback. So, yeah, we'll put you up there as well. I don't know if you turned on.
Drop the mic on.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop the mic. This one's actually to Doug Duncan. You posted on your Facebook page as a businessman, community leader, and commissioner that you have the experience to end traffic gridlock. What will you do differently from the way current Board of Commissioners operate in order to end traffic gridlock that we encounter every day?
Some of that deals with the reality of, go back to how long it takes to build and widen the road. There are no quick fixes in certain cases. The other, though, which is what I've done, at least in District 1, in the summer of 2016, I saw that we had real issues. I'd been on the commission a year and a half, and I went to the commissioners and said, I need money, we need to do some quick fixes. How can we fix these things? And find pinch points. So, Furious Ferry Road and North Bel Air Road, widen that. Open Mulligan Road up. We opened Holly Farms Road up. Open intersections, trying to solve the problems that I saw in my district. So I have 6 or 7 of those type projects. We just widened Jones Creek, put a turn lane so folks can get in. But anything we can do to relieve the congestion right now, we're doing until the traffic is completed, or the construction is completed. So I have hard examples you can see.
Nancy, you want to? That was geared toward Doug. Do you have a comment you or Mark would like
Well,
to?
you know, I have not been a commissioner, and I have seen a lot of poor past practices. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. So at this point, I think you have to take what's there and try to finish it, and then look in the future where we're going to be getting Lewiston Road and in next year, beginning of next year. And roads like that, the road work that's gonna come to Harding McManus. And let's try to do a little bit better education with the public about what's going on. And maybe use some law enforcement in these peak times in the morning and the afternoon to help move things along. I mean, to me, that seems like a real simple solution. I don't know why that's not being done now. I don't see them.
You know, I can't really make a lot of comments on it, but some of the stuff Doug was talking about, I witnessed it, and a lot of my neighbors were very appreciative for it. So thank you for getting that done. And I think we can use a lot of common sense approaches like that in these smaller areas where you can put a little quick turn lane in, or like a quick XL, decel lane to get the traffic to disperse. That's the whole key to it. If we can get them to disperse quickly, then we can move on, and we don't have to spend a lot of money doing that. So that would be one of the first things that I would do.
This is for all three of you. How will you review contract integrity and ensure compliance? Andy, do you want to start?
Can you repeat that?
Yep. How will you review contract integrity and assure compliance?
Review a contract's integrity and ensure compliance.
Correct.
With any business, contract with any business, or?
Really contract, good question.
Yeah. Every contract is different, and even the length of a type of contract is different. So I don't know who asked that question, if you want to clarify.
You want me to answer?
Did you ask it?
No, I didn't. But you know, the county has a huge staff of attorneys. When I have questions like that, I have attorneys that I ask and get their legal opinion on it. And you know, that's what their profession is. So I just go on and ask them what I need to. I pay the bill, I have the right answer, and then I proceed on from there. So that would be my suggestion.
All right, so all three candidates support citizen advisory boards.
Yes.
Why haven't they been reinstated? And then it says both Duncan and Tucker have worked in the county, but I guess that hasn't been done in the past. So I guess the question would be for all three candidates on the citizen advisory boards, as far as reinstatement, and what do you see their role in our county?
Well, in my division, I had citizen advisory boards. I had the Animal Control Advisory Board, Local Emergency Planning Committee, the Fire and EMS Advisory Board. I loved bringing the citizens in, and we had specific people, depending on where they worked, for their expertise. We had trauma surgeons from NCG as part of our EMS Advisory Board, for instance, our ambulance services, and of course our emergency services, our GIS, because of people not having addresses for ambulances to be able to find their homes. So I believe in advisory boards. I think as a commission, they are the ones who control the major boards like the construction, development, and development advisory boards that were abolished. Those are the ones that I think are key and need to be brought back.
Yeah, I agree. The chairman controls the agenda, and the chairman can bring up a vote to add these types of boards. So I fully intend to reinstate the business board, or the builders board, and establish a business advisory board to oversee code that's written that comes that the county thinks we need to change.
And be a buffer. A lot of times things will never have to come to the commission if these advisory boards work with the homeowners who have problems with builders or whatever.
All I can say is hallelujah. I'm glad they are agreeing to the same thing. Back last September, I was preaching this, the construction boards, all these different boards, even a financial board with accountants on it that can go back and look at the financial statements and scrutinize them when they're buried 5 or 6 levels deep. You need to have somebody that's very familiar with financial statements. I've actually talked to quite a few different investment bankers, financial people. They said they'd love to be on a board like that. The builders board, we had that. The developers had a board. And you know, when we had those boards in place, we didn't have a lot of these issues because we knew what the rules were. When people had a problem, they could come to that board and talk about it. And that was the sounding board for the commissioners. I was the chairman of it at one point. And we would take that information back to the Board of Commissioners and let them know what the people were saying. So I'm definitely in favor of having citizen involvement back in our county.
The next one is, what is the water runoff fees collected actually used for? And why are there so many retention ponds in our county?
What is the water, what stormwater fee?
What is the water runoff fees collected actually used for? Do you want to?
I can answer that.
I can't do.
Okay.
Doug, go ahead.
So we collect just over $3 million of stormwater fees.
3.7.
Just over $3 million of stormwater fees. And we have a staff of 35 people who manage do stormwater. There are 2 to 3 crews that actually go out and cut the ponds. There are 244 ponds, I believe, we manage. Just so you know, it's a total separate system, stormwater system that runs the water off. Now, we have an MS4 permit from the state, so we have to inspect that every 5 years. So we have, I think, 7 inspectors that go out. That's all they do. They inspect up to 20% of the stormwater pipe a year. So 7 folks do that. The crews that do the work, the county completes on average 8 to 9 work orders a day. People call in problems. So of those 35 people, you have inspectors, you have workers, you have management. But on average in 2017, 8 work orders a day were completed within stormwater. So, did I answer your question?
What's the money used for?
It does the work. It does the repair work that those people do when they repair. When the inspection, if they have to fix a pipe, it goes to pay to keep the whole system up and pay people to do it.
Half of it goes to salaries, and I think that's the part that bothers me because we only collect 3.7 million a year, and half of that pays salaries. And I would propose moving those positions into the general fund so that the full amount can be used for these stormwater projects, and just cut back fat where there's fat in some departments. We need some operational reviews to right size some of our departments.
You know,
It can be done.
I agree with what Pam's saying. I just paved the driveway. It's a quarter mile long. My water tax went up $65 a month for a freaking driveway.
How long is your driveway?
It's a quarter mile long.
A quarter mile?
And the road sits here and my driveway comes down. And I called the county up and asked, what is this for? And they said, well, it's for the stormwater. I said, well, the water runs down my driveway through my yard. They said, well, we can't help you with that. It only works from the county road up. So I have the privilege of paying for something I can't ever use. And I think most everybody in here is the same way. I think it's a ripoff. That's what I think. And when I get in there, we're going to look at it and we're going to find out exactly what needs to be done. And I'm sure there's going to be some unhappy people at a point, but I think there's going to be a whole lot more happy people when we get in and dig into it.
All right, next question. How would you support quality of life, especially the outdoors, green space, parks, etc., while continuing to support growth? Mark, you want to start that one?
I shared mine, which is, my hope is that if the citizens agree to continue the T-SPLOS, that we could use that money, whatever it takes to finish the Greenway. Go ahead and knock it out, get it done.
Columbia County didn't vote for the T-SPLOS the first time, but we got it because Richmond County voted for it, and we're tied in with them. So I think that's probably what's going to happen again.
I agree. I hate all these unnecessary taxes. You know, we have so many parks, and y'all realize when you have these parks, you got the maintenance and upkeep on them. And after about 5 to 10 years, you got more in maintenance than you got in the whole park. So I think a lot of that just needs to be reviewed, is what I think it needs.
Our best thing to do is to go by Evans Town Center Park when it's 80 degrees and sunny. Or go by the one behind the library, and you'll see hundreds of people. So.
All right, one last question. There are a lot of houses for sale. Why don't we stop new development until the infrastructure to support the new homes and population are in place?
You want me to do that one first?
You start now. Or,
You know, in new housing, we're not a big tract builder. We only do about 25 houses a year. We build houses, or we build homes for people. If you stop new housing on every house, Ken, maybe you can help me with this number. There's, it employs, what is it, like 150 jobs per house. That's how many people we contribute back to the economy. And when you do that, the real estate agents are involved in it. The business owners are involved in it. So you just can't stop housing. And that's foolish to even think that you can, because there are so many people that make a living out of it. All the suppliers, the vendors, everybody.